Sorry I'm late. I held the whole thing up. We were on a plane ready to depart out of Dallas, and something about an O seal. I don't know what that is, but it was leaking, and they said that we were going to have a problem getting here. So right away I started to negotiate and figure out how I could get on another plane. And as I'm doing that, this is a true story now. I'm looking out the window of the plane, and from underneath the plane comes a worker with a belt and all the things, and he's got a ski cap, a Notre Dame ski cap on. He's waving at me. I said, "You got to be kidding me! We haven't even run a play yet, and it's already on here." So you guys have done an unbelievable job putting this matchup together. I mean, you go back to 1955 all the way up to 1990, and it's been 20 years. A lot of people wanted this to happen for a long time, and you guys, I don't know how you did it, but you pulled it off. And as I was departing Miami, well, I kept, they sold the tickets, I think, at lunchtime one day. They were all gone. So they're like, hey, get more tickets, So there's a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. I'm excited to be here. I want to acknowledge Coach Kelly and Notre Dame for the success they had this year. You're going to see a lot of good football players here between the two teams, and it's going to be an exciting game. Like always, it's an evenly matched contest. It's been that way forever. So appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Certainly, the matchup is important as well. But the Sun Bowl and its tradition for the University of Notre Dame to be part of it, we're very, very pleased. And then obviously to have the University of Miami and its great tradition as the team that we're playing make this a very special event. I think you could look at, a lot of the matchups in college football in the bowl season. You could arguably say that this will have as much appeal as, other than the national championship game, as any. So, anytime that you're able to reward your football players with an opportunity to play in a game with this kind of matchup, I can tell you our kids are excited. And as Coach knows, sometimes the bowl practices kind of drag on, but when you have an opponent like the University of Miami, it keeps the attention of our players. I know that, and I'm sure I hope that's the case, and or maybe I don't hope it's the case. I hope you're bored.
Don't worry about that.
So, from that standpoint, University of Notre Dame is excited to be here and be part of this community, and I think we're going to be able to put on a great show because I know the community is going to do the same for us in the University of Miami when we get here. So excited from our end, and certainly the matchup is one that I think a lot of people are going to take notice nationally.
What was the greatest factor in you all accepting the invitation to come here? Coach Kelly, you first.
Well, I think if you look at where our season was tracking, we had it narrowed down to just a couple of games, and with the tradition of the Sun Bowl and what it has meant to so many other teams that have played in here, that was an attractive option for us because obviously we didn't get bowl eligible till later in the year. So from that standpoint, it had narrowed down to just a couple of opportunities, and Jack Swarbrick, our athletic director, and I were in conversation about this for a couple of weeks once we became eligible. So it was clearly something that was on our radar the last few weeks.
You did know about, you knew some of the history of the Sun Bowl, its reputation, and so on.
Oh, absolutely. We just look at last year, Stanford and Oklahoma, and both those teams are playing in BCS games. So, the teams that have played in this bowl game over the years have done quite well moving forward as well.
Coach Stoutland?
I think it came down to Oscar. Honestly, you're looking at two teams that nationally recruit. This game has national exposure. We all know that. So that, it helps us all. We're already talking about what an exciting event it's going to be. the teams back then were so evenly matched. Like you're saying in the 80s and 90s, 88, 90, the games were like, you could go either way at the very end of the game. So,
what do you think about Notre Dame, sir? Have you had this opportunity to see their game plan, and what game plan will you have against Notre Dame?
oh, I've seen Notre Dame on film. I'm very aware of Notre Dame. Other places that I've coached prior to Miami, we played Notre Dame every year. So I'm very aware of the tradition, very aware of the level of players, the talent that they're going to have. I've watched a lot of their film already, and it's going to be a great matchup. It really is. The thing and that makes it that much more enjoyable for the players. The players turn on the film and they see a great team there as an opponent. They get excited about preparing.
What should fans expect to see when Miami comes through the tunnel of the Sun Bowl?
Fans should expect to see a team that comes out together, not in pieces. A team that comes out with high energy, enthused to play the game, to win the game, and the bottom line is every one of these players, except for the seniors, is going to be back. And this is their team. So, last game for the seniors.
Is it a business trip for you, or do you give them a chance to experience a little bit of El Paso and enjoy the events leading up to the bowl game?
Anytime you go to a bowl game, as I said when Kirby Holt first asked me to lead the team into the bowl game, immediately, I'm just talking to some of my friends, closest friends. The thing that was most important to me was whatever I do, whatever decisions that we make as a staff, it's got to be for the players. And I think as we prepare back home, it's to win this game. As we get out here, we're going to enjoy El Paso. We're going to let the players enjoy this experience. But when it's time to practice, we're going to practice. We're going to practice hard. When it's time to go to a meeting and view the film and study the film, we're going to do that professionally.
Last question. This game also sold out in record time. This is sold out in a day since the bowl game was matched up. And we're already calling this perhaps the biggest sporting event in the history of El Paso, given the teams and the magnitude of the event. Talk a little bit about how much this city is excited about your rival Notre Dame and this game.
Well, Steve, they sold our tickets, and I'm serious, at lunchtime. They were telling us if we need tickets, we better go down and get them now because they're gone. So it just tells you what the enthusiasm is going to be.
Well, I think, again, when you talk about the University of Miami, you start on the defensive side of the ball with great speed and athleticism. Offensively, they're going to have those big play guys on the perimeter. Hankerson is a guy that's going to break all of Michael Irvin's records as a receiver. Look, the records may not indicate it, but these are two football teams that have got very good football players and will make for a darn good football game. This is one that is recent enough that our kids remember Catholics versus convicts. They remember Jimmy Johnson and Lou Holtz. They remember the great players that played on both sides. Now, you go back a little bit further, maybe not, but this matchup in particular, they are really aware of. Well, there's no job like the job as the head football coach at the University of Notre Dame. I thought I knew that coming in. It made it really clear to me during the year. And then, we had to deal with, not your average season, getting off to a slow start. And then, obviously we had to deal with some adversity during the season. All of those things, you don't expect all of them to happen in one year. A lot of that happened this year, and we're stronger because of it.